Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Echo Podcast, where we make English simple and enjoyable. I'm Harper, and today it is just me. No Julian, just you and me and a cup of tea that has gone a little cold because I started talking to myself before I pressed record. That happens more than I want to admit. So, today I want to talk about something that I think about a lot, something that feels a little personal to say out loud, but also something that I think every single person listening to this right now understands in a very deep way. I want to talk about hopes and desires. Not goals, not to do lists, not 5 year plans written in a planner with color coded tabs. I mean the quiet things, the things you carry around inside you, the things you think about on a long bus ride or right before you fall asleep, the things that make you feel something warm and nervous at the same time. Those things. I'll start with a small story. A few months ago, I was sitting in a park near my apartment. It was one of those late afternoon moments where the light is soft and golden and everything looks a little more beautiful than usual. And I had my notebook with me, and I just started writing. Not anything organized, just whatever came out. And I wrote, "I hope this year feels different." And then I stopped. I looked at that sentence for a long time because I realized I had written it before, in different notebooks, in different years. I hope this year feels different. And I thought, what does that even mean? Different how? What am I actually hoping for? And that is what I want to explore today. Because I think a lot of us carry hopes around without really looking at them closely. We know they are there, we feel them, but we do not always ask ourselves, what exactly am I hoping for? And why does it matter to me? So let us slow down together. Let us talk about this properly. First, what is a hope? And what is a desire? Because I think people use these words in slightly different ways, and I find that really interesting. A hope is something you want to happen, but you are not completely sure it will. There is a kind of uncertainty in hope. It is gentle, it is open. When you hope for something, you are not demanding it. You are not forcing it. You are simply holding it softly and thinking, I really want this. I really wish for this. For example, I hope the weather is nice this weekend. I hope my friend is feeling better. I hope things work out. Those sentences have a soft quality to them. They are wishes. They leave room for the universe to respond. A desire is slightly stronger, more personal, more internal. A desire is something you feel deeply that you want. It comes from inside you, not just from circumstances. It is not just, I hope the weather is nice. It is more like, I deeply want to travel somewhere new. I want to feel more connected to people. I want to do something that actually means something to me. Desire has weight. It has heat. It is something that pulls you toward a direction even when you are not sure how to get there. And I think both of these things, hope and desire, are completely essential parts of being a human being. Without them, life feels flat. Without them, every day starts to look the same. Without them, it is hard to move forward. But here's what I have been thinking about lately. I think a lot of people are embarrassed by their hopes and desires. Like, there is something vulnerable about admitting what you really want. Because what if you say it out loud and it does not happen? What if someone thinks it is silly? What if you want it so much and then it disappears? I understand that feeling completely. I have felt it many times. When I was younger, maybe 19 or 20, I had this desire to write something, a book, an essay, something long and meaningful. And I told someone about it once, just one person. And they said, "Oh, that is nice." A little bit like the way someone says that when they do not really believe in the thing. And I put that desire in a box. I closed the box. I pushed it to the back of my mind. I told myself it was not a realistic thing to want. And I focused on other things instead. But here is what I learned. Desires do not disappear when you ignore them. They just wait. They are very patient. They sit quietly inside you, and every once in a while, they knock. They say, hey, remember me. I am still here. And eventually, I stopped ignoring that knock. I started writing again. Not perfectly, not confidently, but consistently. And it felt like coming back to something real after a long time away. So today, I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it, not just listen and move on. I want you to sit with this question for a moment. What do you hope for? Not what you think you should hope for. Not what sounds impressive or responsible or realistic. What do you actually hope for when you are honest with yourself in the quiet moments? Take a breath. Let the question sit. I will tell you some of mine because I think that is only fair if I am asking you to think about yours. I hope to feel more present. I spend a lot of time in my head, planning things, replaying things, worrying about things that have not happened yet. And I genuinely hope to get better at being here, in this moment, in this conversation, in this cup of slightly cold tea. I desire more slowness. I know that sounds strange in a world that is always rushing, but I want mornings that do not feel like emergencies. I want to read books without checking my phone every 4 minutes. I want conversations that have no time limit. I desire that kind of spaciousness. I hope to make things that matter, not famous things necessarily, not things that everyone sees, just things that feel honest and real and useful. Things that make someone feel a little less alone. And I desire deeper connection. I think this is one of the most universal human desires there is, the desire to be truly known by another person. Not just understood on the surface, but really seen. To have someone look at you and understand the complicated, contradictory, still figuring it out version of you, and to stay. Now, I want to talk about something a little delicate here, because sometimes hopes and desires can feel painful, and I think we should talk about that honestly. Sometimes you hope for something and it does not come. You wait and you hope, and you do everything you think you should do, and the thing still does not arrive. A job, a relationship, a place to call home, a feeling of peace that you have been chasing for a long time. And that is genuinely hard. There is a kind of grief in unfulfilled hope. And I do not want to be the kind of person who says, just keep hoping, it will all work out. Because I think that dismisses something real. What I believe instead is this: the act of hoping itself has value, even when the outcome is uncertain, even when the thing does not come exactly how you imagined it. The act of hoping means you are still engaged with your life. You are still leaning forward. You still believe, somewhere inside, that things can be meaningful. And that matters. There is a word I love for this. The word is aspire. When you aspire to something, you are reaching toward it. You are not there yet, but you are moving in that direction. You are growing toward it, like a plant growing toward light. There is movement in aspiration. There is life in it. I aspire to speak with more kindness. I aspire to listen better. I aspire to understand things that currently confuse me. I aspire to be someone that people feel comfortable around. These are not things I can check off a list. These are directions. These are orientations. And I find there is something freeing about that, because a direction does not have a deadline. You do not fail at a direction. You just keep walking. Now, I also want to talk about the difference between hoping for things in your life and hoping for things beyond your life, because I think both matter and they feel very different. Personal hopes are the ones closest to you. I hope I feel healthier. I hope I find work I care about. I hope my family is okay. These feel immediate. These feel urgent sometimes. But there are also bigger hopes, the ones that go beyond your own life. I hope the world becomes a more compassionate place. I hope people learn to disagree without destroying each other. I hope that kindness becomes less of a surprise and more of a default. These bigger hopes can feel overwhelming because they are so large. What can one person do about them? And I think the answer is you do not have to fix everything. You just have to be a small part of the direction. Every person who tries to be more compassionate, more honest, more fair, they are contributing something, even if they never see the result. That is a kind of hope, too, a quiet, long term, patient kind of hope. And I think it is one of the most important kinds. Let me tell you about something a teacher once said to me. I was maybe 16, and she asked the class a question. She said, "What do you want your life to feel like in 20 years? Not what job do you want, not how much money do you want to make. What do you want your life to feel like?" I remember the question surprised me. I had been asked many times what I wanted to be when I grew up, but no one had asked me how I wanted to feel. And I sat there and I thought about it seriously, and I wrote down 3 words: meaningful, connected, free. I look at those words now, and they are still exactly right. They are still the compass. Everything I hope for, everything I desire, points back to those 3 things. I want a life that feels meaningful, connected, and free. And I think it is worth doing that exercise for yourself. Not right now necessarily, but sometime this week. Sit somewhere quiet, get a piece of paper or open the notes on your phone, and ask yourself, how do I want my life to feel? Not what do you want to achieve? How do you want to feel? What is the texture of the life you are hoping for? Because I think when you know the feeling you are reaching toward, it becomes easier to make decisions. It becomes easier to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. The feeling becomes a kind of map. I also want to say this. It is okay if your hopes have changed. It is okay if what you desired at 25 is not what you desire at 35 or 45. People change. Life changes. New experiences open new doors and close others. And the hopes that mattered once might not be the hopes that matter now. That is not failure. That is growth. That is you becoming more specific about who you actually are. I used to hope to be impressive. I wanted people to think I was interesting and accomplished and ahead of things. And now, honestly, that desire has become much quieter. I hope to be real. I hope to be someone whose presence feels easy. I hope to make people feel welcome. That feels so much more important to me now. And I think part of wisdom, part of getting older, is that the hopes become more honest. They become less about how you look from the outside and more about how things actually feel from the inside. Okay, we are getting close to the end, and I want to leave you with something to think about, a kind of small invitation. This week, I want you to write down one hope and one desire, just one of each. Keep it simple, keep it honest. Your hope can be big or small. I hope my commute is easier this week. I hope I reconnect with an old friend. I hope I feel proud of something I did. Your desire can be quiet or large. I desire more rest. I desire to feel creative again. I desire a life that feels more like mine. Write them down, not to make a plan, not to create pressure, just to acknowledge them, just to say, these things are real, they exist inside me, and they deserve to be seen. Because I believe that hopes and desires, when we pay attention to them, when we treat them gently and honestly, they become a kind of energy. They move through your decisions and your choices in ways you might not even notice. They shape the direction of your life, quietly, persistently, patiently. And that is worth something. That is worth a lot. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Native Echo Podcast and leave us a comment. I would genuinely love to know, what is one thing you hope for right now? Write it in the comments, even just a few words. It is great English practice, and honestly, I love reading them. You can also join our WhatsApp channel to stay connected and never miss a new episode. The link is in the description. Come find us there. Take care of yourselves. Keep listening. Keep learning. And remember, your hopes are not silly. They are not too much. They are part of what makes you who you are. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.